Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to Small World and thank you for joining me with today's video. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make realistic medieval stones from Styrofoam. As with my other foam stones, I start with a block of pink XPS foam. I start by scribing my stone pattern into the foam using a sharp X-Acto blade. I'm just blocking in the basic shapes of the stones, and a reference image can come in handy for this step. Once you finish scribing, it should look something like this. The next step is to widen the gaps between the stones with a mechanical pencil. I just follow the path of my scribed stone pattern to make the gaps look more pronounced. Then, I add some texture to the surface using a ball of scrunched up aluminum foil, and this really adds some nice realism to our project. With that out of the way, we can start painting. I begin with a base coat of a dark gray paint mixed from vallejo black, brown, and deck tan. I think most dark grays would work as long as they have somewhat of a brownish tone to it. I highlight the rocky surface using a dry brush layer of the same paint, but with more deck tan in the mix to lighten it. As you can see, it really brings out the bumpy surface. I use Spackle to fill in the mortar joints, and I just smear it onto the surface using my fingers. I keep pressing it down until it fills all the gaps between the stones, and any excess spackle can be wiped off the top of the surface. I cover the piece in a wash of vallejo buff and yellow ochre to unify the surface and to color the mortar joints. Once dry, I repeat this step using burnt umber. The stones are starting to look more realistic at this point, and you could stop here if you want your stones to be more on the gray side. In my references, the stones have more of a brownish color to them, so I apply washes of several shades to individual stones. This will add some nice tonal variety and contrast to the wall. The darker stones are painted using watered down Van Dyke brown, and the more orangey tones are either burnt sienna or burnt umber. The last step is to apply some speckling to the surface. The first layer is watered down deck tan, and the second layer is watered down black. And here's the final result. As you can see, the speckles are much less pronounced once dry, and they add a nice texture to the surface of the stones. I hope that you learned something and that you found this video useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Also, a big thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate your support. If you'd like to join them and support me on Patreon, I offer tons of content such as process pictures between videos, early access videos, and much more. Well anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Also, here are some bloopers. I highlight the rocky surface. Blah 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 blah. The stones are starting to look more like stones at this point.